right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Virtual Happy Hour, put on by Eat, Drink, Lucky, and Rad Plaid. I want to say hello to Chef David and our musician tonight, Kimayo. Really excited to see what you guys have in store for us tonight. We're going to start off with our first cocktail of the evening. Called this one Rumors, after the Fleetwood Mac album, going with a music theme for all of our drinks here on out. But it's a really fun kind of springtime variation on a daiquiri cocktail. Okay. Daiquiri is a really simple drink. It's typically consists of base spirit of rum with lime and sugar. So really straightforward, but it's an easy one to do some variations on. So for this one, I'm going to be using a rum agricole, which is a special style of rum that's native to the French Caribbean island of Martinique. Okay, so this one here is by the producer Clement. Okay, what differentiates a rum agricole from any other white rum is the fact that it's actually distilled from fermented sugarcane juice, not a more processed derivative of sugarcane like molasses or something like that. And because it's distilled from the sugarcane juice itself, it has all those really grassy, kind of bright aromatic flavors that you get from the sugarcane juice. So it's not typically you find a style of rum outside of a locale that's native to where they're actually growing the sugarcane. And the reason for that is that sugarcane juice itself is highly fermentable. So it typically doesn't survive transporting it. It'll start fermenting along the way. Obviously, that's not what they're looking for. So in this case, we're going to get some really nice kind of springtime flavors out of that rum agricole. If you weren't able to find a rum agricole in advance of tonight, feel free to use any of your favorite white rums, or if you're feeling a little more bold, an aged rum would work. But I would avoid using anything like a spiced rum or a dark rum that's going to have too much of a sugar content for this drink specifically. So just a reminder, I usually spec out all of my drink recipes in terms of parts. Okay, so parts can be easily translated whether you're using a jigger to measure or a favorite shot glass you brought back from vacation, which sure seems like forever ago now. In this case, the 1 part measure will be your lowest common denominator. So in this recipe, the 1 part is a ½ ounce. So another way to measure at home, if you have a tablespoon on hand, it's 2 tablespoons per ounce, and you can do your conversions like that. For this one, we're going to use 3 parts of the rum agricole, which translates to 1.5 ounces. So find your shaker tin setup. Last week, I was actually shaking drinks in a mason jar for a little extra challenge for anyone who's at home without the special setup of a bar setup or shaker tin. Just make sure you have a nice tight fitting lid, and a mason jar works great. So we'll go ahead and get started because I can talk forever. 1.5 ounces of the rum agricole from Clement in your shaker tin. And we're going to be modifying this drink tonight with a rhubarb liqueur from Giffard. It's a French producer of fine liqueurs and syrups. So I have all these fun little mini bottles. This is a rhubarb flavored one. I also have a pineapple one. There's banana and blackberry. And this is an instance where you can really make this drink your own. If you weren't able to find a rhubarb liqueur, I did recommend something like Aperol. An Italian aperitif would work well, and it has some of those rhubarb flavors as well as some bitter orange. Just keep in mind, whenever you're using a liqueur to modify your drinks, you want to also consider the sugar content of the overall cocktail build. So we're going to be dialing back the simple syrup portion a little bit. But again, 1 part, in this instance, a ½ ounce of that rhubarb liqueur. It's come in handy. We're also doing 1 part of simple syrup, keeping in mind the sweetness from the liqueur. And this is another fun little pro tip for you guys since you're bartending at home. I don't always do it this way when I'm behind the bar. In the interest of time, we obviously prep fresh juices in advance. But this is a way to squeak a little more flavor out of your fresh citrus at home. Okay, so we're going to take the whole lime. We're going to cut that in half. And we're going to squeeze the juice from that, but we're going to hang on to the shell of the lime. So that's going to come in handy. So whether you have a beehive juicer, just a plain wooden reamer, you can always use a fork. It's a little more labor, but it gets the job done. In this case, I have a fancy juice press. I know it seems like I'm cheating every time I do one of these because I have all the fun equipment. But, all right. We're going to need about 1 ounce of fresh lime juice. So that'd be 2 parts to our bill. And these are big limes I have today, so really one's going to get the job done. So we'll measure that out, that fresh juice, into the tin. And we're actually going to take the lime shell from 1/2 of the lime that I cut, put that right into the shaker tin because the rind contains all these beautiful aromatic essential oils that are going to provide flavor and a little more interest to the drink. You're going to add your ice to the tin. There's another little pro tip. I've had my glass chilling all along. It's always best to pour into a pre-chilled glass whenever you can. Just make sure you get a nice tight seal on that. Okay. And we're going to shake for about 12 to 15 seconds. All right, here we go. Should do it. Break the seal. You should get all the good liquid out of there. And since I put the whole fruit in there, we're going to double strain this one just to make sure we don't have any particles from the lime fruit itself. If you have a fine mesh strainer at home, something like this, little basket, works well. But again, no judgment. You know, we're all kind of limited in terms of what we have on hand. So if you can't double strain, no big deal. So you get all the liquid out. So that is our first drink of the evening. Call that one Rumors again. Because of the rhubarb in the rum agricole with an H. Not pronounced room, just rum. But it's a really fun, bright drink. I hope you guys agree. Just take a baby sip. The really nice grassy flavors from the rum play off of the rhubarb. Just one of my favorite kind of modified daiquiri builds. And again, you know, depending on what you have on hand, you can build in essentially limitless flavor profiles into that daiquiri build. So cheers. I'll see you back in a little bit.
Well, hello, everybody. Nice to see you all again for the Eat, Drink, Lucky Happy Hour. Patrick, I'm sorry I didn't get to make your cocktail today, but I've got a beer here, which is pretty nice because, you know, we're in the spirit. So I'm going to make a little salmon dish. So this is a potato crusted salmon. It's one of my favorites, actually. So potato crusted salmon, I'm going to make a little lemon sour cream sauce with a little fresh fennel. So the thing about this dish is you're using a leftover baked potato. So, you know, you got some baked potatoes, they're hanging around. Or in this case, I baked them off because I didn't have any leftover baked potatoes. So very simple to just take the potatoes on a box grater and just break them up. And so the crust is, these potatoes are kind of small. So I'm making 4 portions of this. And so I think I need more than just 2 potatoes just because they're so small. But and you can see, Ashley, get in there. You can see I'm kind of just shredding this potato up. I've taken the skin off after I baked it. And one thing to stress is that the potato needs to be cold in order to make this dish properly. So the potato's got to be baked ahead of time. If it's hot, you really don't get a good crust. So here I've got my potato, a little bit of sriracha, not too much, a little bit of chive or scallion. In this case, I've got some scallion and a little bit of salt and pepper. And, you know, potatoes, I like a little bit of salt. It's all right. So I like to wear gloves for this just because it's kind of a messy process. You don't have to, but I'm a fan of gloves for this. So the salmon, I think I'll do the salmon before I mix the crust. So I've got some nice salmon fillets here. These are boneless and skinless. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just a little bit of Dijon mustard on each of these and a little bit of salt and pepper. And then I'm going to kind of just smear this around. This is going to be on the inside of the potato crust. So, all right, so you can see why I really wanted to wear gloves. So not a ton of mustard. I don't really want the mustard to be overpowering flavor-wise. I really want it to be just a glue almost for the potatoes. All right, so there you can see I've got my, and you know, if you don't like mustard, you could use mayonnaise, you could use cream either. All right, so I've got my potato crust, and let's see, I can get rid of these bigger pieces, and just mixed up. And then what I'm going to do with these, I'm actually going to cook this while you're listening to music. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crush one of these, and you can see that I've. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the crust on the bottom and the sides. That's it. And then I'm just going to set these aside. And like I said, I'm going to cook these while you guys are listening to music. So what I'm going to do with this, what you're not going to see me do is I'm going to take this pan over here, nice big Teflon like this. I'm going to preheat this. I'm going to put this fish in there, skin side down, a little oiled pan, and that's going to be baking. And when you come back to me, this will be just coming out of the oven. And the other thing I'm going to make, and I'll get that on now before I finish this, a very simple lemon sour cream sauce. So I have a little bit of vegetable stock here, and very little bit of vegetable stock, a little bit of garlic. And so then what I want to do with this is, I forgot. I want to zest the lemon first. So a little bit of lemon zest off the outside of this lemon. You don't really need too much, but it does add a nice acidity to the sauce. So just a little bit of that. And then, and I don't know, you could go back to bartender school there, and you could see 4 different kinds of juicers. I just have this one, which he didn't show, so I got another one there. So I've got the juice, the zest, the garlic, and then I've got some sour cream right here. So I'm just going to put this lemon in here, my sour cream, my lemon zest, and this is just going to basically come to a simmer, and that's going to be our sour cream sauce for the fish. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to send you off for some music with Kimayo, which you're really going to enjoy. She's awesome. And then next time I see you, I'll be putting this salmon on the plate for you. So go ahead and enjoy the music.
Hello, wonderful people. I'm pretty excited to be here tonight. My name is Kimayo, and this is Happy Hour. I want to say thanks to Rad Plaid for reaching out and having me on. And I'm going to play a mix of some covers as well as some originals for you guys tonight. I'm pretty jealous that I cannot enjoy that cocktail, so I might have to find a way to make that myself. All right, this first song is by Creedence Clearwater Revival. more. I know it's been coming for some time. When it's over, so they say, it'll rain a sunny day. I know, shutting down like the water. I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Coming down on a sunny day. Yesterday and days before, sun is cold, rain is hard. I know, been that way for all of my time. Till forever on it goes, through the circle, fast and slow. I know, and it can't stop. I wonder, I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Coming down on a sunny day. I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Coming down on a sunny day. Yeah, coming down on a sunny day. So this next song is called I Tried, and for those of you that have seen me play out, you will know this, but this is the first song I ever wrote that I liked. And I hope you like it too. The sails are out full speed ahead. I wanna live this life, not get caught up in the pain or in the hurt of the daily grind of my childhood. Push it out, 'cause my heart says go, move on in this life. No time to slow down to think of what life once was. Just no point in trudging up these memories, these tears, these bleeds of a brokenness, of a need to please, of a family that just wanted peace but never got that chance to breathe. Though I tried, I tried. I try to get work done, but the more I try, the more it gets in the way. I try to procrastinate, but my thoughts run away and they just put me to shame. They sink deeper and deeper and deeper down and they pull me away from where I'm supposed to be, living a life where I'm just free to be me. I try to pull up that line, but I'm just too weak. I got no self-esteem. I don't have self-worth, so that anchor just sinks right back down into the earth and into the dirt and beneath those waves. When I try, when I try, I'm so tired of trying to be superwoman, trying to not be human, to pretend that I'm okay, that I'm just fine if it's all a lie. When I try to feel, when I try to cry, the hurt's too real, so I hold it back, let the anchor go. It sinks right back down. When I try, I try. Yeah, I try. Oh, I try. Yeah, every thought that comes across my mind. Gotta let go of this pride that I keep holding on to. Gotta give it to God who has the best at heart, 'cause I just always mess it up. And every time I trip and fall and I break and bleed and I scream and cry and I beg and plead, I can't do it anymore. No, I can't do it anymore. No, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it anymore. I tried. I tried. I can't do it anymore. I tried. Oh, I tried. Yeah. I can't do it anymore. No, I can't do it anymore. No, I can't do it anymore. No, I can't do this anymore. No, I can't do this anymore. I tried. So, in honor of Patrick's drink, rumors, I figured I should do a little bit of Fleetwood Mac. And this next song is called Landslide. I take this love and I take it down. Oh, I climbed a mountain while I turned around. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, the landslide, it brought me down. Mirror in the sky, what is love? Can a child within my heart rise above? And can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Ooh, I don't know. Oh, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, and those children get older, and I'm getting older too. So I take this love, I take it down. I climbed a mountain while I turn around. If you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can a child within my heart rise above? And can I sail through the ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Oh, I don't know. Oh. I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. But time makes you bolder. Oh, those children get older, and I'm getting older too. Oh, I'm getting older too. So I take this love, I take it down. I climbed a mountain while I turned around, and if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, maybe the landslide will bring it down. Well, the landslide will bring it down. Thanks for all the love in the comments, guys. All right, I've got one more for you, and then we're going to go back to Patrick for another cocktail, which is quite exciting. This next song is called Something Beautiful, and this song is about a person seeing all of you, and especially I think in the midst of quarantine this applies. So that means I didn't get enough sleep last night, or I'm trying to work from home while the kids are out of school, and someone seeing all of it and loving you for every aspect of who you are, which sometimes leaves us wondering why. The song is called Something Beautiful. Meet me in this space. Oh, I long for your embrace. I'm so tired of doing, straining just to have. Whispering the wind gently strokes my cheek. I'm too afraid to speak. Will you be with me? And place your hand upon my shoulder. I wanna know ya like the ocean knows the sand. And meet me in my broken, in my guarded and unspoken. Remind me who I am. Oh, how you see something beautiful when you look at me. Wandering through life, will I ever get it right? My heart is just longing for you to hold me. Striving day by day, well, I have been running from the grace I'm so desperately seeking. But true love isn't earned. So place your hand upon my shoulder. I wanna know ya like the ocean knows the sand. And meet me in my broken, in my guarded and unspoken. Remind me who I am. 'Cause my body keeps on moving and my soul is left behind. Remember me together so I can remember you are mine. 'Cause my body keeps on moving and my soul is left behind. Remember me together so I can remember you are mine. And place your hand upon my shoulder. I wanna know you like the ocean knows the sand. And meet me in my broken, in my guarded and unspoken. Remind me who I am. Oh, how you see something beautiful. Oh, how you see something beautiful. Yeah, how you see something beautiful when you look at me. When you look at me. All right, we're going to go back to Patrick now.
Thanks, Kimayo, and welcome back. This is Maddie. Some of you may have met her on the last couple of virtual happy hours we did. She's gotten accustomed to getting her weekly 5 minutes of fame, so I promised her she'd make an appearance again this week. But she really enjoys the music, so thanks again. We might as well jump into our second cocktail of the evening. I called this one Sketches of Spain after the Miles Davis album because it is just as smooth as the name would suggest. And it's actually a variation on a very old classic cocktail called the Metropolitan. This was a drink that was originally published in the 1935 Old Waldorf Astoria cocktail book. And it's sort of similar to a Manhattan, but utilizes brandy for the base with sweet vermouth and a bar spoon of syrup and aromatic bitters. But as I mentioned before, I'm the bar manager of Chaval in my real life when I'm not under quarantine, which happens to be a Spanish and French hybrid. So I wanted to take this drink a little more in the direction of Spanish flavor. And we did that with a couple of key ingredients, one of which is a brandy de Jerez. Okay, so this is a brandy produced in Spain. Now this is going to be kind of a hard get in Maine because there aren't currently any available. I think there may be some in our neighbors down in New Hampshire, but definitely in Massachusetts. So, you know, I'm not saying go to Massachusetts, get your brandy. Any fine brandy or cognac would work well in this drink, but something that's really interesting and unique about a brandy de Jerez, not just that it comes from Jerez in southern Spain and Andalusia, but it's actually vinified from a base of sherry, so those native grapes like Palomino Fino and Pedro Jimenez. And then it's further aged in sherry butts that formerly held that sweeter style of Pedro Jimenez sherry. So think like oxidative flavors, nuttiness, as well as some of the more concentrated dried fruit, raisinated flavors you get with like a Pedro Jimenez. So all of that gives this particular brandy a lot of depth and interest. But again, you know, any BS cognac you have on hand would work really well in this drink as well. I just like to show off how versatile my home bar is. So that's going to be the base for our drink tonight. All right, so get your mixing glass ready for this one. Again, all my recipes are listed in parts. So for this one, our lowest or 1 part, lowest common denominator is 1 ounce. So we're going to do 2 parts or 2 ounces of the brandy for the base of the cocktail. Again, you know, any standard measurement unit you have at home, like tablespoons, can be converted. 2 tablespoons per ounce. So 2 ounces of this wonderful brandy de Jerez. Let me drink. So if you weren't able to get your hands on that particular brandy, you can make up for it with your vermouth choice. So this is another vermouth that comes from Spain, the Vermouth de Jerez. Okay, this is by the producer Lostau. There happens to be another one available in Maine called La Copa, and that's by the Bodega Gonzalez Valles. It's a little spicier. But much like the brandy de Jerez, this is made from a base wine of sherry. So both in oxidative style, like Oloroso, as well as that more viscous and raisinated style, Pedro Jimenez. So those 2 wines are combined and then aromatized with wormwood and fresh citrus. So it has a really nice depth of flavor, much like the brandy itself, which is going to carry through in this drink. Okay, so it'll be 1 part of the Vermouth de Jerez, or 1 ounce. I'm a big fan of sherry, especially in cocktails or when pairing with food, because it's just such an interesting wine. And I think a lot of people associate sherry with a sweeter style of wine, but typically, by and large, most sherries tend to be on the drier side. So definitely a fun way to add unique flavor to your cocktails. So the original Metropolitan called for a bar spoon of syrup. In our Sketches of Spain variation, we're going to be using a cherry liqueur. Okay, I happen to have another rare find on my home bar. This is by a producer out in Oregon. It's called Clear Creek. Okay, and this is a cherry liqueur that's made from a base eau de vie, which is an unaged brandy that's produced from fruit, in this case cherries. And then it's sweetened with the actual juice of the cherry. So it's got all of that flavor without a ton of the sugar. But if you don't have, obviously, access to Clear Creek, you could use something like a maraschino, a classic Italian cherry liqueur by Luxardo. I've actually visited that distillery at the height of the cherry blossom season. So everything was blooming and it was gorgeous. And, you know, it's one of my favorite liqueurs. It was really popular in the first golden age of cocktails in the late 19th century. So late 1800s for this one. It popped up in all sorts of classic cocktails. It's not a stranger to the Manhattan. But another cherry liqueur that's available in Maine that works really well is the cherry herring by the Dutch producer. So I called for a bar spoon of this, and I'm actually going to use my bar spoon to measure this out. But I'd say it's probably closer to about a half a teaspoon is all you need in here, or about 1/8 of an ounce. So good luck measuring that, but maybe overdid it. That's all right. And lastly, for my aromatic bitters, these are by my friend Mark Hibbard, who's a Portland bartender. He runs the bar program at Black Cow Burgers, and he also has a side business called Dove Shanks, which produces a nice range of flavored bitters. These are his D's bitters, which are a hazelnut flavored bitters. I'm sure some of you are catching the joke hidden under that. So we're going to do a couple dashes of that hazelnut bitters by Dove Shanks, just to reinforce some of the nuttier flavors from those sherry ingredients. And again, this isn't a dasher bottle, this is a dropper bottle. So I usually measure dashes in terms of like inches roughly. So about 1.5 to 2 inches from the dasher should do it. And for those of you who tuned in early, I'm going to talk while I stir because it takes a little more time. Right? I give you some homework. So this drink, I think, built as is great served straight up. It doesn't really need much more. And we're going to be stirring this for about 40 seconds, so you can count while I stir. But for those of you who are feeling extra ambitious, I give you a project to make some coffee flavored ice. So you can literally take whatever you drink, or don't drink rather, from your morning pot, put it into an ice mold. These are 2x2x2 molds. Or if you just have a standard ice tray at home, you can put it into there. Throw it in the freezer, wait until they're nice and solid. And you can serve this drink over the coffee ice. As it melts, it's going to provide some extra bitterness and flavor to the drink and just give it a lot more dynamic, I guess. So we should be about there. So nice. All right. So I'm going to serve this one on the rocks. Again, you can serve it straight up if you prefer at home, if you didn't have time to make the coffee ice. Get that nice cube, go right into the glass. I'm going to strain over the coffee ice cube. Stretch for a dramatic flair. Okay. And for the garnish, while we were listening to Chef David make his salmon dish and Kimayo play some beautiful songs, I was in the other room in the kitchen toasting some coffee beans in this cast iron. It's had a minute to cool now, but all the aromatics from the oils within the coffee beans are still present. So we're going to be garnishing with some of these aromatic coffee beans, and that's going to just hit your nose. So we'll put those right on top of the ice cube. As you bring it up to your face to take a sip, you're going to get the aromas from the coffee beans. So this is Sketches of Spain, and I hope you guys enjoy. Cheers.
Wow, that cocktail looks fantastic. I wish I had one. Last week we made this. We made it along with you, but we didn't this year. I mean, this week. So so my salmon is in the oven. I've just about finished this sauce over here. So what I did with this was I added a little shaved fennel, because that's what I had, could have been pared down. And I was supposed to use paprika, but I didn't have any paprika. I mean, cayenne, but I did have this picante smoked paprika from Spain that my daughter actually brought to me. So then, as a little accompaniment, I've got some butter and olive oil, a little garlic, and that's going to just be with this. It's one of my favorite vegetables of all time. Literally, just some spinach. I'm not going to do much with that. Just a little bit of that butter, olive oil, garlic, and a little bit of salt and pepper. And all right, now I'm going to get this fish out. Let's see how it did. So you can see I just put this in a preheated pan in the oven. You can see I had only crusted those salmon pieces on the sides and on the top. And this is going to come out right here. Here's my sauce. I think I'm going to put a little of this under and then maybe a little bit more over. We're going to feast tonight. So actually, you know, I know that my recipe says cayenne pepper, but I tasted this with that smoked paprika. I actually think it's better. And my camera crew over here is going to taste this and tell me at the end. What do you think? Want to taste that? Yeah, taste the sauce. Can you taste this smoked paprika? I think it's pretty good. All right. So here's my fish. Oh, look at that! You got like my little. You know, just saying. All right. So the trick with this is to not break it while you're flipping it over. Oh, doesn't that look good? So I got the potato crust was on the bottom. Now it's on the top. And somebody's going to get a bonus. Maybe Rocky the cat's going to eat the other one. All right. And here's my salmon over here. This really doesn't take very long. I had that garlic just sort of ground off a little bit, but not too ground, because I like it to get a little nutty, but I don't like it to get burned flavor at all. I don't like overcooked garlic. And you can see, what I like to do with my spinach is I like to cook most of it. And then I like to, just right before I serve it, I like to throw another little handful. So it's still what I call live. And just a little spinach along here on the side. Oh man, does this smell? I mean, we talked about smell-o-vision. We don't have smell-o-vision yet, but man, oh man, does this smell good? I think it's the garlic. It really was good. And then we're just going to come back here. I think a little bit more of this lemon sour cream sauce. And that is going to be that right there. So there you go. You got that. You got that. Actually, here, you got a nice picture of that. All right. Well, good. Well, guys, that's your potato crusted salmon with the lemon sour cream sauce. And why don't you get back on to Kimayo and listen to a little bit more music.
Well, that looked delicious, and I'm a coffee fiend, so that drink Patrick also seemed quite fabulous. This has been so fun. I'm so glad and thankful for everybody that's tuned in. Someone said the chef is killing me. Well, I'm assuming that you enjoy it. So this next song is called Grow Little, and this is about finding your inner child. Helps when I'm in the right K-pop. There we go. At least you know it's live, right? The ground is frozen through. I've been looking for you, like a moment trapped inside a time. I think you're lost inside my mind. A journey still to come. So much left undone. Over the river, off into the field. I am looking for you still. When I was young, I used to battle in the woods, killing monsters and fighting for the good. But I grew older, and somehow now I find the monsters live inside my mind. I had to cut that one short because I couldn't remember all my words, but that's what happens when you're in quarantine and you haven't played a show in 6 weeks. So I apologize to John in advance because I know he likes that song. But it's on my album, so if you want to hear the whole thing, feel free to check it out. All right, this next song is called Ready to Be. This one's also on my album. And I have the words here just in case I screw it up this time. This song is about not letting the past hold you back and not letting the future give you too much anxiety about moving forward. Time for the past to pack his bags. He's been bunking here too long. I'll hold on to the memories, but honey, you and I are done. Sick of you interfering with this future I'm trying to build. Whoa. And I'm sick of hearing that you know what's best when honey you don't. I'm ready to be, baby, be right here, right now. Ready to be, baby, be ready to walk this life out. Whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh. It's time for the future to stop meddling where it doesn't belong. I promise I'll get there, but you gotta stop rushing me along, 'cause I'm tired of what ifs and maybes and worries. Oh, did I get it right? And I'm tired of doubting and questions and only seeing black or white. I'm ready to be, baby, be right here, right now. Ready to be, baby, be ready to walk this life out. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. These stories have been running wild in my mind, like gypsies in the night, stealing precious moments. But now it's time to cut the ties. I'm ready to be, baby, be right here, right now. Ready to be, baby, be ready to walk this life out. I'm ready to be right here, right now. Ready to be walk this life out. I'm ready to be, baby, be all the words in that one, guys. So this next one's gonna be a cover. And it's just a fun song that most people like and they enjoy when they go out. And since this is happy hour and people are pretending to go out right now for this 1 hour experience, I figure I'll play it. I personally actually wore jeans tonight and put on makeup, so this is me going out as well. So this song is called Wagon Wheel. Heading down south to the land of the pines, so I'm thumbing my way into North Carolina. Staring up the road and pray to God I see headlights. I made it down the coast in 17 hours. Now I'm picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers, and I'm hoping for Raleigh I can see my baby tonight. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way I feel. Hey, hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Would you rock me, mama, like a southbound train? Hey, hey, mama, rock me. Oh, mama, rock me. Running from the cold up in New England, I was born to be a fiddler in an old-time string band. My baby plays the guitar, I pick the banjo now. Oh, North Country winters keep getting me down. I lost my money playing poker, so I had to leave town. But I ain't going back to seeing that old life no more. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way I feel. Hey, hey, mama, rock me. And rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Would you rock me, mama, like a southbound train? Hey, hey, mama, rock me. Oh, mama, rock me. Walking to the south, that Roanoke. I got a trucker, had a filly, had a nice long tote, but he's heading west from the Cumberland Gap to Johnson City, Tennessee. I gotta get a move on before the sun to hear my baby calling my name, and I know she's the only one. And if I die in Raleigh, at least I will die free. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. And rock me, mama, any way I feel. Hey, hey, mama, rock me. And rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Would you rock me, mama, like a southbound train? Hey, hey, mama, rock me. Oh, hey, hey, mama, rock me. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. And rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, hey, mama, rock me. And rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Would you rock me, mama, like a southbound train? Hey, hey, mama, rock me. Oh, mama, rock me. That's always a fun one to play. It's a lot different to be playing it and not have you all singing along, but I'm imagining in my mind that you're all singing at home right now. So I'm gonna close out with the lead track on the album I came out with, which was almost a year ago that I recorded. And the song is called Phoenix, and I think it's really pertinent to this season that we're going through right now with COVID, with quarantine. This song is about overcoming struggle. It's about being refined by the challenges that we go through and becoming more of who we were meant to be. And I've seen so much good and so many silver linings come out of this quarantine and out of people being kind and compassionate and genuine and caring and connected with one another in the midst of being distanced. So I think this song relates a lot, and hopefully you feel the same way. If you can see the little logo on here, feel free to donate to all of us tonight as we continue to make a living through these crazy times. Thank you to Patrick and thank you to David for their awesome sharing and inviting me into new cocktails, which I'm really excited about. And I'm sure that salmon's also really good. So this song is called Phoenix. I've already died, and now I rise up from the grave. Ashes in my eyes, and they remind me from whence I came. Try to knock me down, but I won't take it. Try to take me out, but you won't win. I've already fallen 7 times before, and I know how to get back up again. 'Cause I'm a phoenix, refined by the fire. I was blind, trapped by my lies. Now I rise out of the depths every time. Coursing through my veins, a new refrain and a brand new song. Let out all the fear, the way is clear and I'm moving on. Darkness likes to linger in the doorway, waiting for a chance to come inside. But shadows can't exist in the presence of light, and the sun is burning in my mind. I'm a phoenix, refined by the fire. I was blind, trapped by my lies. Now I rise out of the depths every time. Ooh. My heart keeps beating on my feet, stepping along. My soul found peace, found freedom. By God's grace, I got this far in time. Thankful for every scar that broke me down, revealing what I needed. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. 'Cause I'm a phoenix, refined by the fire. I was blind, trapped by my lies. Now I rise out of the depths every time. Ooh. Have a great night, guys.
We're clapping, but you can't hear us here. That was awesome. Music was great.
Thanks. I, just forgot my own lyrics, but
Well, that's all right. You were
I
lost
didn't
in the
notice.
It's good.